Well, good morning and welcome to Bedhead Chat with Chad. It is an early morning for some. It is a late morning for others. I'll tell you, for me, whew, I don't know if it's even morning yet. Construction going on upstairs, and I don't know what state you live in, but construction working to 12:30 at night in an apartment complex. You could say I was a little cranky. But hey, good morning and welcome. Today's theme is. Will you take my picture, please? So it's photograph related, having to do with pictures, having to do with taking pictures, having to do. I know it sounds really, really lame, but I'm telling you, it's not lame when I'm involved. So yeah, well, good morning once again. So go ahead and start posting your words. Go ahead and whenever you get up there, hit them. And here, let's just take a look at today's bedhead. Woo! Not so much, I took a fresh shower last night, so it's nice and dry, and there was just like no oil left in my hair to, the back. You can see I have my back sleeper. But yeah, today's bedhead is sponsored by Facebook. Yeah, because they bring pictures back to life. Pictures that you don't necessarily want to come back to life sometimes. But hey, yeah, that's the theme today is photographs. So, I tell you, as we were talking about, what should I? Oh, that's a bald spot. I just saw the delay. Oh man, I just gotta do something. I'm just gonna get some of that spray paint and spray it in. But yeah. So as Dana and I were talking, my co-host Dana Benkert, what should the theme be today? And we decided that the theme was going to be, because she told me a story about me and cameras and how I act around cameras and I act with cameras. So I said, let's just do photographs. But, she started with me, but let me start with her. I remember we were at Niagara Falls. We went there often. But this time we actually went on vacation intentionally, not because we were just driving through the area and did a special trip. But we went to Niagara Falls and we were with Kylie. It was a Kylie thing. We were going there to put a lock on the bridge there like my sister did, and we had Jeremy and Peyton with us. And we went to the American side of the falls. We always stay on the Canadian side because it's just nicer. Sorry US Buffalo side. Just Niagara Falls US side, nothing compared to Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. But we're over there on the US side, the American Falls, and this nice little Japanese lady comes up to Dana, doesn't speak any English, and basically motioned like, will you take my picture? And it was interesting because Dana took a picture, but then she said, oh, no. And she doesn't speak any English. And now we grew up doing hosts and exchanges with Japan. So Japan is just part of it. I mean, my Japanese brother was at my wedding. So we're used to the culture. We're used to how things work. And she's just this beautiful, sweet young, well, she wasn't young, but old lady, Japanese. And then she grabbed Dana. And then she dragged her up to the waterfall and to bring her. And then she had somebody else come up and take a picture of her. I think it was me. I don't remember for sure. I don't want to tell a wrong story. But so here's Dana went to just take a picture. And all of a sudden she's dragged. Now she's taking a picture when Dana's short and this lady was a lot shorter. And then she gives Dana back the camera and she drags Dana around as she's going up to strangers because she's in America. Clearly it's probably her first time in America. And she's going up to strangers with the waterfalls in the background and just like motioning. And Dana's trying to explain to him. She goes, I don't know. She just wants pictures. And it was the funniest thing. And Jeremy and I just sat back there on a rock, kind of laughing. And after a while, it wasn't laughing anymore because the lady had to take a whole lot of pictures. But that's what happens when somebody says, will you take my picture? But yeah, that's what started this whole conversation when Dana said, you should talk about pictures. I'm like, well, let's talk about you. Because, I always talk about me, and I very seldom talk about Dana on here, except for when I can drag her in here because, I don't want to get in trouble because I actually have to sleep with Dana. I don't have to sleep with any of you guys. So I can say whatever I want to you, but her, not so much. But yeah, so I remember that. But, also that same trip, I remember now, Niagara Falls, Jeremy and I, there was this person up on Clifton Hills. I think that's what it's called. It's like the tourist trap of the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. It's just a hill, and it's got anywhere from Ripley's Believe It or Not, haunted houses, restaurants, and all this. And there was this person up there doing a photo shoot, and I'm using the air marks a lot today. She's doing a photo shoot in her scantily dressed outfit, and she had one guy holding a light and the other guy taking pictures with not a professional camera, but she's doing all the poses, and she'd be up on a rock and she'd be like, So Jeremy and I decided, we want to be part of this. She might be famous, and if she's famous, we want to be in her picture. So we photobombed every single picture we could. Well, after they caught on after a while of us photobombing all of their, professional shots, there's that air quote again, the professional shots. So instead, us being us, and I don't know why. I mean, I just raised my son so nice, and he turned out like me anyway. But so as she's posing, we would just, Dana, Jeremy, and I would fake like we're doing our own photo shoot, and whatever pose they did, we did. He had his camera, but he just had his iPhone. So he's like, not his iPhone. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. We don't own iPhones in this family. That's the other side of the family, the brother and the sister. But, we're up there and I'm just doing this nice little, or whatever pose she's making, or if she did the seductive pose. We did a seductive. Just didn't matter. But we had a lot of fun. So yeah, me and cameras and people taking pictures is probably not the best thing. Oh yeah, when we used to live in Florida, and you could throw words out for me and it'd trigger me. I guarantee you. Go ahead and throw a word out, but I'm going to keep telling stories until you give me a word. Todd Bilo. Oh my gosh, Todd Bilo. There's so many stories we told. You can push me, but you will not win. Inside joke, not a joke, inside story. But Todd Bilo is awesome. So we're in Florida, and when we lived there, I think I talked a little bit about before all of our adventures. I mean, clearly I like Universal Studios. Okay, I mean, it's a Kylie thing. So, wow, bro, yeah. So the things you remember, the trigger. That's the beautiful thing about the show. It just triggers memories like that. For me, at least. And I like Universal because, that's on a side note, the reason I love Universal is because there's so many memories with my daughter there, Kylie, and most of you know I lost her in a car accident and her fiance. Some of you are newer to the group and don't know that. So you see me wearing a lot of Universal or purple or different things. There's a reason for it. So don't judge me. Just don't judge me. But you can judge me for other things. So when we lived in Florida, and people, that's back still when people had cameras and phones. They had camera phones, they had phones, and they had cameras. They had all three back then. Crazy that people had phones that didn't have cameras, and they had cameras that didn't have phones. Huh. Wow. Okay, but I know. Wow, just think about that. You actually have to carry a camera and a phone? Woo! But I would go to the parks, and what I love to do, and besides photobombing, when we photobombed the world, I mean, we were just, Dan and I in March, before COVID, don't judge us. It was the end of February, beginning of March. We went down to Mardi Gras. That's what it says, Mardi Gras, this 2020. Look, 2020. And we went to Mardi Gras, and we were on a parade float. We loved throwing beads in the Mardi Gras parade. That was just a thing that Kylie always wanted to do. We never were able to do, but Kylie and I went to every single parade every weekend for 13 weeks straight. We went to 26 parades a year, and I got 1,000 pounds of beads still. And so in her memory, we got ourselves on a float. Well, then we realized how to get on a float. So we started going to float every year now. And this year, while we're on the float, we're on the upper level, the people on the lower level, and the Universal people come around and they take photographs of your whole group, and then they'll take photographs for you because you're not allowed to take any photos of your own behind stage because there's secret stuff back there that you can't see. Although the irony is, you go back for Halloween Horror Nights, it's the exact same spot that you were, and you can wait in line, take all the pictures you want of the same stuff. But hey, rules are rules, and we all follow the rules. I'm not going to do air quotes this time, but we all follow those, right, Todd? Right? Todd Bilo, we all follow the rules, all of us. No. So they are on the lower deck, and here I am. There you got the whole family, like 6 of them. And man, I ruined it for them because I went down. I dropped so low. I dropped way in there, and I got my head in there, right? So I right above their heads, and I looked like I was part of their family. To the point where actually they sent me. Because they took it with their phone too. The TM did. They sent me a text, said, "Hey, you want me to text you the photo?" Because they looked at it and they're like, "Oh my gosh, rules? What rules? Oh my gosh, who is that guy?" They turn around and looked up and they're like, "Hi," and I'm looking down at them, "Hi," Then I started throwing beads on their head and all that stuff. But we became friends because I photobombed them. But now I'm in their family portrait at Mardi Gras. You don't know how many family portraits I have made it into that people don't know I'm there. Even Tana had a 21st birthday party. I can't say her last name because she's not on here right now. But I photoshopped myself into that, and I sent it back. I said, you sent the wrong picture on Facebook. So, yeah, I like getting on people's pictures. Oh, I remember another thing I'd love to do is like Disney's the favorite place to do this, because people, when you go somewhere, now listen, I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a minute. When you go somewhere and you're doing this the whole time, like you go to a parade and you're like this, you're kind of missing the parade. It's called a tripod. A tripod. You get it. See, I have a tripod right now. I got them all over the place. You put your phone on a tripod, you hit record, and then you watch it yourself if you got to record the parade that you're never going to watch again. I mean, let's be honest. How many people have more than 3,000 pictures in their phone right now if they have a big memory card? 3,000 pictures. And how many of those 3,000 pictures are actually good pictures? 30, 300 maybe if you're really good. Yeah, we spend so much time in our phones and our cameras that we forget life. But I digress. I digress all the time. But here we go. So I would go, and the things I do for fun, because, you can only ride Space Mountain so many times, and it's still really fun. It never gets old, sorry. But I would go, and we'd see people taking pictures. So I would photobomb them in a different way. If they're taking pictures of the castle, well, I would take a picture of whatever behind them, and I get into their scenes. Like if they're taking a picture of the castle, I'd be there taking a picture of them taking a picture of the castle. I got a whole roll, because I used to separate them all out. I got a whole roll of pictures of me taking pictures of people. And it's the most fun stuff, because then they realize, who is this guy in my picture? So, I told this story before, but a lot of you are new. When I used to work at the haunted house, I was in the hayride, and I was Dr. Fraud. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the... Yeah, I won't go there. But yeah, Dr. Fraud was in the house, and I was a character... Well, I'm always a character, but I was a character that stayed in true form. I never broke character. And people all the time, because I made a lot of friends that way, a lot of time people would say, hey, will you take my picture? Or will you take a picture? If you say a picture, yeah, this is how it works. I grab a phone, I put it in selfie mode, and I go, looking at them, I go, click, and then I hand them the phone back. Yeah, I still do that today, even if I'm not Dr. Fraud. But you know how many people laugh and then say, will you take a real picture now? And I say, okay. And then I turn around and do a selfie. And I take a picture with them with the selfie. And then usually the third shot, they get a picture of what they actually wanted. But sometimes it doesn't make it past the first shot, because this guy's a lunatic. Run. Children, run. Oh, I remember. That reminds me. We were in Chicago. See, I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker. Some people say I cheat. And cheating is not being strategic. There's cheating. Cheating is stacking the deck. Oh my gosh, here's that bald spot on my head again. Woo! Cheating is stacking the deck, okay? Cheating is not playing to the most strategic way you can play. For instance, we had a game, and if you've ever been to like mixers for conferences or whatever, there's probably 150, 200 people in this room. It was actually when I crashed. It was Dana's conference. It was for children's workers, and I was just in there because I was bored, because I didn't have anything going on. And they had a contest. Who could get the most people in a selfie? So you got the whole room going around, like getting big groups of selfies. So while they're all doing that, I walked up on the stage, because there was a stage in this room. It was a conference room. I just walked up on the stage. I did a selfie and got the whole room behind me. So when they all sat back down, they're like, all right, who has more than, because they got to make it fun. Who has more than 3 people in their selfie? And I raised my hand. And then they're like, well, who has more than this? And then it came down to like 5 of us, and we were standing up. And I got my arms folded like this. I'm just standing there like this. Oh, keep going. Keep the numbers going. And they're like, who has 35, 36, 37? The people stopped dropping, and like 50. And it's down to 2 of us. 100. I'm still standing there. 150. I'm like, I said, they're like, there's no way you can have that many. And I walked up there, and I showed them my picture. And they were impressed and annoyed at the same time, because I did what they asked me to do. I just didn't do it in the spirit of what they were asking me to do. But I still got the prize, even though I crashed the party. Chad has tattoos. Oh yeah, man. Boom. Check that out right there. Let me do a... there it is. That is my Through Death Comes Life. I got that one when I was 30 something. and I had it added on to. And then, you ready, Bilo? Poof. There is my Zelda tattoo. That's in memory of Kylie. But yeah, and I've got pictures of those too. painless pictures. Ooh, that's a good picture. I'm looking at it now. To death comes life. Yeah. So I could tell some Bilo stories, but man, those are, woo, boy. But you know what? He had a mom who loved him, who brought him anything he wanted, and we became those same parents, so I can't say much. Gotta love Zelda. You know, anytime our kids wanted, we'd take stuff to school, whatever they wanted. But we didn't go pick them up from Kalamazoo, Todd. But actually, I did many times from the hospital, not from jail. But yeah, I've had to bail them out of. What am I saying? Yep. But hey, no one's thrown me a word out yet. Brett, throw me a word, and I will tell a story. And it will probably be about you. I got so many people on here with so many memories that I could just tell so many stories of just you guys alone, of just you guys. But oh, welcome to Bedhead Chats with Chad. That's just how it goes here. We go off the rails all the time. So back to photograph. That's the theme for today. No words. You're going to have to just hear me talk. And when I talk, you know, let me turn my cup around. When I talk, you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. So, you know, speaking of photographs, sometimes you know, that was photo worthy. You know, there's things that we do that we don't take pictures of that said, man, that was definitely photo worthy. So Wednesday on my Bedhead Chats, evidently, especially on the highlights video that was on bedheadchats.com, Rosita Bonita, the PG version. I'll tell that one in a minute. Good job. But that's got to be, I got to add photo into that somehow, Brett. So I got to think there for a second. But I will tell with Rosita Bonita, Pretty Rose. So the PG version, I don't know. Oh my gosh. I'm going there, Brett. You started it. So now I lost track of what I was going to say. Brett, you got me really off track. I'm just going to go there. So Brett was my best friend for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And you've heard some stories about Brett. Maybe he hasn't heard them, but I never used last names, so it may be the same Brett, it may not. But he was my best friend. And Brett and I did everything together. Now, right now, it's really cool to cruise the strip again at McKinley. Well, we were the original cruisers. Well, not the original, but we knew how to cruise the strip. Two guys in a car and not do anything but cruise the strip and never pick up a chick. But yeah, but we had a friend. His name was Rob, and bless his heart, Rob has passed away of heart disease. He passed away our senior year. But we were, you know, here's another thing. I'll tell you, we were friends with Rob the whole time. Enough said. It's amazing how when somebody gets sick or somebody's dying, all of a sudden friends come out of the woodwork. But this guy was kind of an oddball. He fit perfectly in with Brett and I because we were different kinds of oddballs than him. But he was a sucker. And you know, you put Chad friends with a sucker and bad things happen. So we picked him up one day and he didn't really want to go out to the strip. And we told him there were some girls that we picked up that want to meet us. And this is the PG version. Now Rob was the son of, I don't know if it's a pastor or a minister. I don't know if he was a pastor of a church, but I know it was, I won't say that it was a ministry. His dad was a big shot in the ministry. So Rob was a good Christian kid. We were all good Christian kids, but we're all good Christian kids that, you know, that's why I became a youth pastor, because I was one of those kids. So that's why I could deal with people like Todd Bilo. Because I was a Todd Bilo, just in different ways. So we picked him up and said, hey, Rob, there's these 3 girls that want, and blah, 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 blah. And we led him on to think that we might get lucky, even though none of us were ever getting lucky in our lives there at that point in time. I mean, that was beyond even the thinking about getting lucky. He was a pastor of a church in Niles. So he was a PK, pastor's kid. So we tell him, and then the Rosita Bonita, and I don't remember the whole story, but I do remember talking about how we needed condoms, and we kept on talking about these little itty bitty, we called them Rosita Bonitas, these itty bitty little condoms for him. But we had him thinking this whole time that he might get lucky. And needless to say, we got to the strip and they were gone. Oh my gosh, they were gone. But we we had fun at a lot of people's expense. You know this about me by now. But this was in high school. This is the old Chad, the evil Chad. Psh, you know, the zit still comes once in a while, but I don't do these things anymore that much. But we wrote a song, and Brett, you brought this on yourself. Brett Elms, he's there. I can use his last name because he's on Facebook. He is a songwriter, an accomplished songwriter, but his very first famous song I got to be part of. And the name was, My Real Name is Rob. And it went something like this. My real name is Rob, but they call me Rub. I can do it in some funny places, but my favorite place is in the hot tub. It keeps going. Up for snipe hunting. Yeah, we'll go snipe hunting and cow tipping. But yeah, it goes on and on and on and on. And you know, I think going back, let's just be real. I think it was a way for two guys to be able to talk about something that was not even, back when I was a kid in high school, if you used the M word, I can't even say it because it's PG. If you use the M word, you are going to hell. I mean, that was like, you're just, so you don't talk about it. So then we make fun of other people about it. It's our way of talking about it. I could have lived without hearing that story. Hey, Sherry, I got more for you, girl. But you know, hey, let's be real. When I had my club in Buchanan, Michigan, the Eclipse, we weren't afraid to talk about this stuff. We had, if you ever heard of Triple X Church, it's not a Triple X church. It's a church that is not afraid to talk about those things. They go into the porn industry. They do evangelism with porn stars. They got a shirt that I love, but I won't wear it because people would take it so wrong, me being a pastor. Jesus loves porn stars, and he does. Let me tell you what, Jesus loves porn stars. He loves all. Yeah, right. But that's their logo. But they had a thing. It's called the Kitten Killers. And you just have to go check up the video for the Triple X Church Kitten Killers. But I would play that all the time. And it showed this pretty little kitten. And Sherry, you brought this on. And this is, I'm just telling you what we played because it mattered. And this pretty little kitten, because everybody loved kittens. And this is the beginning of the internet kitten craze and cat craze. You know, this is like early 2000s. You know, we barely had internet in the place. And lightning struck and the cat went electric. Goes, every time you masturbate, God kills a kitten. Yeah, that's what we were raised with, is believing that, you know, God was killing kittens because of us. So, and then they would say, don't be a kitten killer. So don't kill any kittens is what we used to talk about. Don't be a kitten killer. But, you know, hey, I don't know how we got there. Let's talk about poop. That's what I was going about. You know, it's funny. Yesterday, I mentioned one story about poop, and people go nuts. They're like, oh, that was so good. Tell more poop stories. Really, guys? Poop stories? I tell you about the first time I ever pooped in a lake and found out that it floats. And you want to hear more stories about it. That's crazy. That's just crazy. But I'll tell you one. So, you ask for it, you get it. But this is photo worthy. So when I was younger, meaning my 20s, 30s, even in the Todd Belo times, my little sister ears, yeah, it's going to get worse. So when I was younger, like I said, in my 20s, early 30s, probably 20s, I could not eat Chinese and not have to just really go within 30 minutes. I mean, it's just like Chinese was like this thing. And, you know, I think that's back when MSG was the second main ingredient. You know, if you had chicken, something, it was chicken, MSG, and then something else. But whatever Chinese had back in those days, I couldn't even make it from South Bend to Dowagiac without like being like turtle topping or just like, you know, you guys all know, come on, I'm just being real here. The butt cheek squeeze, you're driving like, gotta go so bad. You're driving over the speed limit. You're hoping there's a cop, and if a cop pulls you over, it's gonna be really bad. You're like, yeah, been there, done that. But it's one of those. It was one of those, and we normally would hang out in South Bend until I'm done, because it was regular. I mean, I would like have something with sesame seeds, and the sesame seeds would be out 30 minutes later. It was that bad. Hey, Todd, I'm talking about poop. I don't know why, but people like it. So. The other Todd. So the one time we don't have time. We don't have time, and we're taking the bypass around. We're just taking the country route around, and I'm like, Dana, this is bad. This is bad. And we ended up taking a side road into Niles, and I mean, I am like extreme. Yeah, I'm regular now. Yes, I am regular now. I'm extreme. Like, I mean, I'm just like sweating bullets, and I'm just like, I can't squeeze any tighter, and I'm just like driving like with my left foot as my right foot and my right foot as my left foot. I mean, just so clinched. And we get to this nasty gas station across from Family Video, if anybody knows where that is. I don't even know what it's called anymore, but and they, of course, you need a key. So I go in, and by the time I'm barely, I mean, so you ready for this? So it was so bad and it took them so long to get me the freaking key. By the time I got in there, and I take my pants down, and I was smart enough to just take them way down. And I dropped the toilet seat, and I didn't. No sooner did I just start to that relax in the toilet seat, and let's just say it was photo worthy. There, now you heard another poop story. I don't know what you guys want with this poop stuff, but yeah, I tried. So then I was nice, and I washed my hands, and I took the key back, and we left. So yeah, you wonder how bathrooms get that way. Chinese food. There it is. Next time you go to a bathroom and you see it all messed up, you say, "What the heck was this person thinking?" And just say Chinese food. Chinese food. That's what it is. Forget COVID. Forget any of that stuff. It's Chinese food. Chinese food. It does it to me, at least. Not trying to get political. Don't judge me. But that reminds me of another story. I had a guy that lived with us. His name was Jason. I can't use his last name, but Jason. He had a story. We never saw this, but he told this story once, and he never lived it down because, yes, definitely photo worthy. He never lived it down, and he used to be a gangbanger, tough guy, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not mocking Jason, but, there's a lot of gangbanger, tough guys that aren't. But Jason was tough. And, drinking and all that before high school, all that party stuff. Well, one time he got toasted. Enough that, when you're young, if you don't know how to drink, you puke the same night. I just don't understand people that can puke within 30 minutes of drinking. It just makes no sense to me. But he did. He's drinking and he's got to puke. Well, he's also got to go to the bathroom at the same time. So he starts to go to the bathroom. He sits down on the toilet. He realizes he's going to puke. So he stands up, turns around, and sticks his head in the toilet and pukes. Do the math. Both sides. Glad that wasn't my bathroom. There you go. Another photo worthy. So if you know Jason Little, just ask about the time it came out both sides. He'll know exactly what you're talking about because I'm sure he. And these are the same guys. So you ready for this? We'll talk about poop stains here for a minute here. I'm at church one day, and I'm running out of underwear. I can't find my stinking underwear. And I'm sitting at church one day, and here's Jason in front of me in the front aisle. And you raise your hands to worship. And when he raised his hands to worship, his shirt tail went up and his underwear line came up. And he's like, "That's my underwear." I'm like, "Jesus loves me that's my freaking underwear. What's he doing?" I mean, that was all in my head, of course. But he was wearing my underwear. So I nailed him for that. So then, not even 3 weeks later, we're in my van, and I give somebody an atomic wedgie in the front seat. And I pull that underwear up, and I just pull it up over his head, and it comes out. And it was my underwear. And this underwear was so caked. This was a John story. Remember John that was on a few weeks back? John Troutman. I can use his name because he's been on my show. So I have permission to use his stories. John Troutman. I pull that out. It rips. It just shreds. I mean, the underwear just shreds as they come out of him. And I pull up this long string, and it just, like, you could scrape. Yeah, my underwear. What are people wearing my underwear for? What time we got here? Oh, it is time to go. So, hey, you guys, unfortunately, you wanted it, you got it. Photo worthy, photo bomb, photo likes, and poop stories. But we're going to skip poop stories next week. But hey, so next week is Memorial Day. I will not be here on Monday. So you guys are going to have to just fend for yourself. You're going to have to make it through a whole Monday without this. But I will see you guys next Wednesday. But check me out this Sunday. Hope it changes everything. It's the last sermon in the series. It'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my site. Check it out. Or it'll be here on YouTube at bedheadchats.com or manwith2hats.com. All right. Let's see if I can do this right this time. No showers, no shaving, no clean clothes needed to join the fun. I will see you guys next time. We're out. Man, it's supposed to just slide and end. Okay, let me try this one more time. We are out. Okay, we're not out. One more time, last time. We are out. Come on, there we go.